But we're about to talk about Clovis Kids. Every single one of my formulas is safe for all humans. Okay? Let's be clear on that. That's why I make products that are made of whole foods. Every single product on my list is called a GRAS ingredient, which in regulatory terms is generally regarded as safe. Just all of these products that are in all these ingredients that are in all of my products have been tested for safety, and they are all categorized as generally regarded as safe, which means they are safe for all humans. Obviously, I can't promise if you have some kind of if you have a sweet potato allergy, don't take post-workout because there's sweet potato powder in it. Use common sense, you know. But first recipe book, then Clovis Pets over my dead body. It's getting crazy, guys. All right, so let's jump in. I want to talk a bit about Clovis Kids. What is Clovis Kids? So let me erase this. I'm going to go from I am Clovis into Clovis Kids because Clovis is very, very, very important, okay? Clovis Kids is very important. So we have Clovis Kids. Clovis Kids can be thought of as I am Clovis for your kids. But it's a bit different because we have to handle childhood nutrition differently. We don't handle the food differently, but we handle the protocol differently. And the number one reason why we have to handle the protocol differently is because all your kids are ruined by the time they get to me. Because all of your kids are little sugar burners, because every kid in society is a little sugar burner. Because teachers and doctors and bank tellers and grandma and Auntie Sue and Uncle Bob all feed your kids sugar. 100% of the time. Sugar, sugar, sugar. We have a great Instagram post about a child's average day and how much sugar that they get. It's like over 200 grams of sugar. It's staggering, right? It's really, really crazy. So Clovis Kids is designed to transform households. It is a blueprint for transforming your house into a Clovis-approved living space. That's what we're doing. And I introduced Clovis Kids by asking parents a couple of questions. If you're a kid, you're gonna know, and if you're a parent and you have kids, you're gonna know exactly what I mean by this. I start with a couple questions. First, how many calories does your child need to eat per day? If you're not a part of Clovis Kids, 99.999% of parents do not know. They have no idea, right? How many grams of protein does your child need? How many grams of fat does your child need each day? 99% of parents literally have no idea, right? Kristen Bridge says way more than I thought. 99.9% of parents literally have no idea. They just guess and say things like, I don't know. They just eat what I eat, just less of it, which is the biggest misconception ever, because the assumption is they need to eat less because they're smaller. This is not true. You are a full-grown adult, unless I have you on a mass-building plan. Your tissues are done growing. Everything in your body is tissue. Your organs, your skin cells, your hair cells make up tissue. Your bones, your organs, your hair, your eyelashes, your nails, it's all tissue. Your tissues are done growing. Your children's tissue is absolutely not done growing. This is why we have an epidemic of malnourished children in America, because parents assume the kids need to eat less than they do, which is crazy. They need far more nutrients than you think. That's why I created this program, and that's why I created the Kids Macros Calculator. Which, by the way, having the first ever certified paleo-friendly protein powder in the world was not enough for me, so I now am the proud owner and inventor of the first ever kids macronutrient calculator in the world. I know this to be true. I have tried desperately searching to find one. So I literally invented an algorithm that is your kids macronutrient calculator that will tell you exactly what your kid needs to eat every day, okay? So with Clovis Kids, you get an approved foods list. So we talk about this like the other one. Sorry. This is just terrible handwriting, okay? So you get an approved foods list. Now, the approved foods list is much different than the I am Clovis approved foods list because your kids don't understand why the transition is happening. Your kids aren't like, I want abs or I want to look good in a bathing suit. If they're 5, 4, 3, 6, 10 years old, they don't care about that stuff. They just know that mommy and daddy are taking away all of the sugar, and that makes them very mad. So the approved foods list has a lot more options for kids to help ease the transition, right? You also get access to the private Facebook group So there's a Clovis Kids private Facebook group, and I go in there, I go live. I'm Mr. Justin in Clovis Kids. I call myself Mr. Justin. Sometimes I have crazy filters on my head, or wear an astronaut helmet, or I'm just silly. I'm just silly in Clovis Kids. It's really fun. And in Clovis Kids in the Facebook group, you also get their manifestos, and I separate it into sections. We have the littles that are ages 3 to 7. I have the middles who are ages 8 to 12, and I have the elders of the group who are ages 13 to 17. They all get a different manifesto, which are daily affirmations, right? I wrote these manifestos, these daily affirmations, to empower your kids. That's what I'm trying to do. Empower your kids. I want them to be independent little machines, right? Decision-making machines, right? So you get the private groups, the manifestos, separated by age group. You get the kids macro calculator. It's the only one in the world. Created the algorithm myself. And it would take me a long time to detail how I made the kids macro calculator. So again, I'm going to link to the Optimized Paleo podcast with Autumn Smith from Paleo Valley, and I explain exactly how I came up with this kids macronutrient calculator, all the science that's behind it. Again, it is curated science. I just curated the science and brought it all together and created this calculator, which is amazing. You enter like age, height, weight, your kids' information, boom, you get their macronutrients. Just like that, you can do the calculation yourself, right? Created the calculator for you. I have recommended supplements for kids. I have ebooks. You can see these ebooks for sale at clovis.store. You'll see the ebooks for kids. How to talk to your kids about weight is a huge one of my favorite things I've ever written. And The Ultimate Guide to Macros for Kids, fantastic. I love that book as well. An approved products list for the house. So you can get all the toxins out of your house, like have a clean house for your kids, Clovis approved house, right? So check that out. There's exclusive video content inside of the Clovis Kids website, videos that you won't find anywhere else. There's a reading list for you and your kids, a reading list for your kids. There's resources, fitness recommendations. We can talk about that. I'm actually gonna film some footage. I have a gym in my house. I'm gonna film some bodyweight footage for the kids to teach them little exercises. And you use this info the same way you would the I Am Clovis info, except when you set up an ideal day, you're setting up an ideal day for your kids, not for you. So you have your kids go through the approved foods list and you circle all the foods that they will eat, because I know kids can be picky. So only circle foods that they will eat. If your kid will only eat eggs and bacon and avocado, feed them eggs and bacon and avocado, enough of it to hit their macros, and do it every day. I'm not kidding. They will be perfectly fine. They will be way healthier than they will be from eating sugar nonsense. It's insane. It would be fantastic for them. They'll grow, they'll be healthy, it's fantastic for their cells. Just hit their macros. So set up an ideal day for them. It is not your kid's job to track macros. Understand that. It is your job as a parent. 99.9% of parents are guessing. They have no idea, right? I don't want that to be you. Set up your kid's ideal day. It will take time and it will take planning. You will learn the ins and outs of the foods that your kids will eat so you can set them up for success. Go back and watch my AMAs, which number 9, feeding your children and their gut bugs. The other one is AMA number 14, how to set your kids free in 30 days. All of my paleo powders are safe, perfectly safe for children. You can create keto treats for them. Like there's a keto hot cocoa recipe that I'll link to that's on the Clovis blog. There's you can make pancakes with my paleo powder. You can make keto ice cream. I make keto ice cream all the time. You can put paleo powder in the keto ice cream to have your kid. You can literally have your kids hitting their macros with ice cream on Clovis Kids. You just need to sign up and let me teach you how to do that. You can have your kids hitting macros and being healthy by devouring hot cocoa and ice cream. I'm not kidding. This is fantastic. I make superfood desserts for your kids. It's unbelievable. With the kids, we're looking for improvement, not perfection. Okay? Again, it's not your children's job to track macros. The calculator is there for you to understand their nutritional needs and go from there. Improvement, not perfection. Try to get as close to those macros as you can. Don't beat yourself up if it doesn't happen. You can't force feed the kid with a funnel, right? It doesn't work that way. So just try to get as close as you can. Basically, I'm showing parents the light, right? I'm pulling them out of darkness. I'm giving them the skills and resources they need to become the providers that their children deserve. I want you to understand something, and I'm sorry if this gets a little bit ranty. Here's the thing. If your children have poor dietary habits and you're mad at them for that, that's insane, right? That's on grown-ups. It's not on the kids. Your 5-year-old doesn't drive to the grocery store and purchase the Cocoa Puffs. He doesn't. The reason why parents struggle so much with this is they simply do not know better. They don't. And here is why. There's all there is to it. Nobody teaches you how to raise a kid. No one teaches you how to feed a kid, right? You learn how to feed your children from marketing companies. It's insane. You learn about Capri Sun and Sunny D and Lunchables from marketing companies, right? With Clovis Kids, my goal is to end that vicious cycle. What I want to have happen, I'm helping you raise kids who have autonomy, right? You're teaching them to make decisions for themselves and stop blindly following, I hate this, grown-ups, okay? Some people get really mad that I talk this way about Clovis Kids. I don't care, okay? This drives me nuts. So this is the crazy thing. This crazy thing that we do with kids, right? Kids have to respect and listen to their elders. You have to respect and listen to all grown-ups, right? We tell them to respect and listen to all grown-ups. Well, guess what? I'm a grown-up. You're a grown-up. We're all grown-ups. Now let me ask you a question. How many grown-ups do you know who are complete dumbasses who you would never want your kid to take advice from? In a typical day, how many dumb-ass grown-ups do you run into? Think about it. You may never have thought about it like this because it's just we've been trained generation after generation after generation. You teach your kids to respect grown-ups, right? Give them the mindset of being an independent human being and not blindly following all grown-ups, right? It's crazy. We allow other grown-ups to tell our kids what to do all the time. They tell them how to think, they tell them how to learn, they decide when they get snacks, they decide when they get nap time, we let them feed them at lunchtime, all the while assuming they know how to take care of our kids. Do you think that any school teacher throughout all of her schooling is taught what she should feed the kids at lunchtime for them to thrive? Do you think that they are taught that? No, of course not. Newsflash, let's do this. Upwards of 66% of adults are overweight. 66% of adults are overweight, but we ship kids off to school and like, cool, we give them money for lunchtime or they have a program that they do at lunchtime and all the grown-ups, all these obese teachers are feeding our kids, right? I'm trying to avoid this with Clovis Kids, right? We just teach our kids to listen to grown-ups. It's crazy, right? Doesn't work. Listening to the grown-ups drives me nuts. But anyway, I'm gonna step off my soapbox, right? This is why you need Clovis Kids. You need Clovis Kids so you are not in the dark anymore. So you can provide your kids with what they deserve, with what they need, okay? Clovis Kids is amazing. It is one of the things that I'm like incredibly proud of. It has an amazing future because there's a big announcement coming. It's gonna be fantastic. And I think Clovis Kids is the future. I firmly believe that. If you want to see change in the country, you want to see change in the healthcare system, I've talked about this before, in 12 short years, the American economy will fail because 100% of our GDP will go to caring for the sick, and it's all metabolic disease, it's all preventable, right? So this is how we change the future. You can change your life, yes, but if you have kids, raise them to be autonomous decision makers, raise them to be independent and educated, raise them to question authority. Do it, okay? I promise you, they're gonna have a better life because of it.